Hello, humans of the world. You are now tuned into Relayshons Podcast, where me and a new co-host just like you discuss our relations with ourselves, with each other, and our experiences. Are we ready to break the cycles? You know, the ones that live within our learned behaviors. Have you noticed the decisions you make subconsciously? The ones that lead you right back to where you started? Let's take on the healing journey together. Get on this PJ of unconventional conversations and let's travel all the way through our lineage. Then let's break the cycles link by link. Ready? Let's do this. Hello. Welcome to Relations. Hello, humans of the world. We are still here, tuned in quarantine land, doing what we do best, which is to sit still, which is a gift. I'm so grateful for it. I hope you guys are too. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for listening. And let me get right into it. Let's introduce you to my co-host, who's a sequel. She's coming back because she's just that great. Say hello to Brittany. Brittany, say hello to the humans. Talk to them.
Hi. Hi, humans of the world.
So we're here again. As for those of you who didn't listen to our episode, we did just release this week. What week is this? The first week of April. We released the episode about open access and how people feel like they have open access to us. And so we just decided, you know what? We have dope conversations. We met on Instagram and we have dope DM talks. So we figured, you know what? Let's do this again.
All right.
So let's get right into it. The premise of today's episode is about our spiritual journey and our lifestyles. So I most recently saw this meme where there was a fish in a bowl and the bowl was in the ocean, while another fish was just swimming in the ocean freely. The fish in the bowl was religion and the fish swimming freely was spirituality. The depiction of this image was exactly what I felt when I transitioned from religion to spirituality. So let's get into it. What is spirituality? I looked up the Webster dictionary, definition just to kind of give people the feedback, but then we're going to tell you our own. So Webster said that spirituality is the quality of being concerned with the human spirit or soul as opposed to material and physical things. Mm-hmm. Brittany, what is spirituality to you?
Spirituality to me is life. It's love, is to be free and discover yourself, without all the materialistic things and, the rules and everything that they put on us in the world. They try to box us in, but spirituality allows you to be free and be yourself and discover yourself.
Good. So for me, spirituality just means connecting with self. I think that spirituality, when you connect with you connect with the higher power. Mm-hmm. And so to me, that's like the true alignment that I always basically really yearn to do on my daily life. And then I think when you are aligned with self and with the higher power, then you can connect with everything and everyone around you. And that's when you are free. So
exactly.
So let's talk about a little bit about how we grew up, right? Because we didn't always understand this. I know that I went through a whole journey to get here. I'm sure you did too. So where were you raised in a religion? Can you speak a little bit about that?
I wasn't necessarily raised in a religion. I did go to church off and on. It wasn't really forced on me, to go to church or, be in a certain religion. I did go to a Baptist church and we were supposed to be Christian, but my parents kind of allowed me to be who I am and just express myself. Like they didn't force anything on me. So if I wanted to go to church, I went to church. If I didn't, then, I didn't have to go.
That's a blessing. Girl, look at you.
Yeah, shout out to my parents because my parents allow you to do that. And, I just was able to just be me.
That's dope. I don't have the same experience. To me, it was the complete opposite. I was definitely forced to go to church. I was raised Catholic, and I did the whole thing. I did my baptism. I did my first communion. I did my confirmation. I got the whole white dress, got married to God, all that.
I did get baptized.
Nice. some things.
Yeah.
I remember Saturday mornings, my mom would make me go to like Sunday school and every morning, and I would go with me, my sister, and my cousin. And I always felt kind of like weird about it because I'm like, you staying in bed and I have to go. Like
Right.
I wasn't like my mom wasn't like the type of parent was like, oh, let's go to church. It was like, no, you go to church.
Mm.
And so one day I questioned her. One day I was like, okay, so why you don't get to go to church and I have to go?
Right.
And she responded and she was like, I just want to expose you to it. And then when you're ready and you want to do something different, then you could do something different. And I remember the day it happened. I was sitting at church, and it was long-winded because Catholic churches are very long-winded. And the door opens, and like it's Catholic churches are like really dark. So when the door opens, it's like a bright light that came through, and this girl came in with like it looks like she had like a mini skirt. Like she looked disheveled. She looked like she was just partying last night and decided to come to church.
Mhm.
And she walks in, and the priest then takes literally lead to insult her. Like it was like, oh, when you don't come to God's house late, you don't come to God's house dressed that way, you have to respect, like literally embarrassed her.
They
Like,
say come as you are.
right. So I remember going home that day and I was like, yeah, Mom, so that was the last time I'm going to subject myself to that. And she was just like, okay, and kind of let it go. And ever since then, I kind of just been on this path to trying to figure out, like, how do I find my own connection with God, and the higher power and the universe. And it's been dope ever since.
Yeah.
So, okay, what are the changes that you've noticed in yourself through your spiritual journey?
The changes that I first noticed, I would have to say was, my dreams becoming more vivid. And like I would dream about individuals or certain things that was going to happen. And I would say like maybe 2 weeks later or a month later, it will happen. And when I was younger, like I felt something different. I want to say like maybe around 7. I felt like spirits were trying to communicate with me. This was shortly after my great grandparents had passed away. And I would listen to people like tell stories about people being possessed by demons, kind of like the exorcism or however you say it. And I would be able to feel it and like see everything that the person was describing. Like this was a hairdresser that I went to when I was around that age. And I was kind of like I was very disturbed and I didn't know what I was feeling. And I really didn't know how to describe it, but my parents could tell that something was wrong with me. So my mom asked me what was wrong with me, and I told her, and then she had the discussion with my dad, and my dad wasn't too happy about the conversation that the hairdresser was having around me. And of course, I didn't tell him so that he could say something to her, but he wanted to say something to her anyway. So I would end up talking to my mom about it, and she basically told me to tell them don't speak to me. So me being young, I would, prayed it away. So I'm like, please don't talk to me. Please don't talk to me, And I kind of just like swept it under the rug. Like, okay, well, that's it. I don't know what's going on. So later on in life, I want to say like maybe 2010 or something, like I kind of was just feeling weird. Like I was in a place that I didn't belong. Like I would tell one of my friends, like, you ever feel like you're home, but it's not your home? Like you just feel different, like you're searching for, a different home, like you don't belong. So that was one of the shifts that I was going through too. Like, I feel like I'm here for a higher purpose. Like maybe I done been here before, maybe I agreed to come back here. So those were, my experiences at that time. And I just kept, going through life, just ignoring it. So when it happened, it was kind of like I was forced to discover myself and my spirituality. It wasn't by choice.
Wow, like that. First of all, that's beautiful. As as scary as that it may seem, or how evolving it was, like it's a very beautiful journey. Um, I relate to you a lot, so that space where you felt like you were not, you were in the wrong place, or you felt like you were just
Mhm.
disconnected from here. I felt that very early on. So I
Yeah.
was like the weird kid who, like, I would cry a lot when I was a baby, and my mom would always be so confused as to why, and I just would feel things.
Hmm.
And sometimes I just wasn't able to understand it. And sometimes it would be people that would come in, like my mom would have friends that would come to the house, and depending on who they were, like she was like, sometimes you would sit there and like you were playing, you were having fun, and then my friend would come, or a specific friend would come, and you would just like completely change. Like you would just
Yeah.
go into a corner, you would just retrieve, and like your moods would change depending on who was around you.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you cried, like she said that one time she was at the fish market and I was crying, and she was like frustrated with me, and this man came up to her and was like, you know, just let her cry, it's okay, she feels things differently.
Hmm.
And my mom was like, you know, I just was always so confused by you. I just didn't know what was wrong with you. And, you know, it kind of, those things led to me feeling really depressed and really disconnected, because I just didn't know, I couldn't understand what I was feeling and why I was feeling it. Um,
Yeah.
and then as I got older, I just started to realize, like, oh, wait, like, I think I just feel other people's emotions sometimes. And I feel very connected to things outside of me, and I
Right.
need to like figure out what this means to me, right? And I did a lot of writing. I used to write poetry a lot, so I would like just let it all out. But I never really spoke to anybody about it, and I didn't start to like live it until I, you know, moved away and kind of started reconnecting with myself. But I think a lot of kids, like, I wonder if like kids who are sought to be like autistic, or like that have like disconnected issues, I wonder if that's really what they're feeling, this spiritual connection outside of themselves, and they just
Yeah.
don't know how to express it.
Yeah. I was that kid that sat under the table and played with my Barbies, or just sat in my room and in a corner. Like, I'm a only child, so I always would go to have solitude and just stay to myself, because I felt like not many people could relate to me, and I couldn't really understand how I was feeling. Then my dreams, I'm always traveling, so I wasn't sure if I was dreaming or if I was sleepwalking, and there would be things that I would speak to my mother about. I'm like, remember that? And then she'll be like, no, but I can't remember, like, if it really happened or was it in my dream. So,
So
you
dream
know,
planning is definitely amazing. I'm currently not going through a phase where I'm not remembering my dreams, and I always get nervous when I go through those phases. I've been through it before, because I'm like, my dreams are my guidance. Like, I've learned
mhm,
that my dreams are telling me things and they show me things. So when I can remember them, I'm like, oh my God, what am I supposed to do? Like, what am I supposed to rely on now? You know.
yeah,
But dreams are very vivid, and they do speak to us. And there's different realms of things. Obviously, we could go down a whole rabbit hole with that. But
yeah.
um, so, what are some things that you would consider tools in when it comes to like your spirituality?
The first thing I will consider as a tool is your intuition.
Mm.
Um, before I got like deep into before it resurfaced,
Mhm.
because like I said, I kind of like prayed it away and swept it under the rug. And then I want to say like 2015, I started experiencing like really bad anxiety. And I was working in a plant at that time. And, there's a million people on your shift, and it's so much drama. And I remember one day just being at work, and I was just feeling all of these emotions that I had no control over, and I just went through this whole anxiety. And I ended up taking like a stress leave from work, like like I have to leave from here. And that's when I realized, like, okay, it's resurfacing. So from that point on, once I went on that break from work, I told myself, like, just follow your intuition and just go wherever your intuition leads you. So that's the number one thing. And I would like see different places and I would visit them. It would be places that I would always have my eye on, but I would second guess it. So I ended up going to this place called the Psychedelic Shack by my house. And I was just telling them, like, I just want peace. Like, whatever, peace is, and in my little universe, like, I want to try to create that. So that's when I start connecting more with crystals. And the first crystal I bought was the amethyst. And from there, I just started collecting crystals, and I would say huge component in writing down your dreams. The crystals, like, they're cute. I call them my little crystal babies, and I feel like I'm not alone when I connect with those, but I don't feel like, that's the main thing. I feel like the main thing is your intuition and heat in your dreams, and that'll tell you a lot.
Yeah. Intuition is a big one. I think another thing I would say is connecting with these thoughts of knowing when something is not right, right? And I guess it's intuition, but it's also like just feeling like your heart, like your body, like everything about you talks to you.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of us, I know for me, I've always had fears. I always had fears like just the same as you, as anxiety and panic attacks, because I'm feeling these things and I don't know what this is, and I was just trying to push it away. That it almost drove me into these like weird depressions. And I feel like a lot of them were because I didn't allow these things that I was feeling to just be. I think that now what my biggest tool is to be able to just accept me for everything that I am, everything that I'm not. Don't compare myself to other people. Stop trying to achieve this one thing. Just really focus on self. And I think that's like the biggest key and the biggest tool that you can ever have when it comes to your spirituality, because you are God. We all are God. We are pieces of you. And so if we want to connect with the higher power, we just have to connect with ourselves.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't believe that, like, there's a yin and a yang, there's, a masculine and a feminine, and it's just like we're God and goddesses. So, it's just like it's within us.
Yep, all of it is. I think other things that I've been doing is like meditating. I do also have crystals. I do a lot of candles and like aromatherapy. I do writing. I think writing is so therapeutic, and it just lets you kind of just get things out of your mind and on paper, and then now you can have space to feel and just be. I think, what else? What are the tools? Taking walks, connecting with nature. I haven't been out in a week, and I'm like, okay, maybe I need to go and like see what else is going on out there.
And that's a huge thing for me too, like nature and the water. And I have this thing with trees, like I'll see a tree and be like, this one looks like it needs love, and I'll just hug it. I'll be like, this one's been through the most trauma. And I could just tell from the roots, and I'll just give it a hug. Like I'm really connected to the water and the trees. And
water is huge for me. I'm in California the most because I was able to, like, whenever I was de-stressed or disheveled, like I would just drive to the beach and I would just put my feet in the water, and like that was so grounding for me. And I was able to just feel calm and peace wherever I was if I was near water. So that's amazing. Even baths, like now what I do is I just fill up the tub and, put in some like aromatherapy in there, some Epsom salt, and just lay there. I think that just being in water is healing, period.
yeah, and water also just like helps you. Like if you feel like overwhelmed throughout your day, like the first thing I think is like, oh, I need to go home and, take a spiritual bath or take a shower and just wash the day off of me. Like just imagine myself just washing all of the energy off of me. And then once I do that and, light my candle and play my music and, smoke some weed. It's all well after that,
God, music is so healing. Please, anybody, if you can just, whenever you're feeling off, just turn on some good tunes that you love. And I literally feel like my whole spirit lifted.
Yeah. And then also another thing that I've been doing, I want to say like almost 2 years now, is just like every day writing down the things that I'm grateful for. So I do that, and that helps me as well.
Yeah, gratitude is important. Even if I'm a talking out loud person, so whenever I'm brushing my teeth, after I brush my teeth, and I'm like in the mirror, I'll just say a few things to myself. And I think those affirmations, gratitude, whatever you want to call them, they're just confirmations, and it brings you back into reality of like you're good and you have a lot of amazing blessings around you. So you should focus on those. So.
Yeah. And because I travel so much in my dreams, it's just like I'm never here. Like I never stay in one place when I go to sleep. So one of the sayings that I say when I wake up, I might sage around myself and I'll say like, presently I am present, I am peace, I am love, I am light, because I feel like a lot of times I am not present. So when I do wake up, I try to snap myself back to reality, like, okay, we're here now. Because when you were asleep, you were just in all these different realms, experiencing all these different people, and it tend to get a little crazy for me, especially because there's never really words when I travel to these different realms. Like I see people and I kind of have to piece together what's going on and where I'm at. Like no one's speaking.
Nope.
And I haven't got to the point where, someone is.
You should be able to feel what they're trying to tell you. Because what I've noticed is like there's a feeling. So what I do is whenever I wake up in one of those dreams and I remember them trying to say something or me trying to understand something, I'm always thinking, okay, what did I feel in that moment? Whatever I felt in that moment is what they're trying to tell me. Because they don't speak language. They don't talk languages. They talk.
It's the feelings. It's the feelings. And it's just like, sometimes I always feel when, it's an emotional thing. Like when a loved one passed away or, they want to tell me that they're okay and, they're dancing and they're listening to music and I'll see them and I'm just like, oh my God, and I'll start crying and hug them. And then next thing you know, I'm somewhere else.
Yeah, I love them though. Sometimes I wake up exhausted. Lately, I've been waking up like it's a flash. Like I'll go to sleep and then I wake up and it's like a flash, right? And I feel like they're trying to protect me because I think whenever I'm in that phase like you're in, sometimes I could get very disconnected from this world. So sometimes I think that they protect me and keep me like grounded by keeping me here. But when you're in that space, it's just important to just feel whatever it is that's there, feel. And then when you come back, that's a good ritual to like say something to bring you back. Because sometimes you just stay there and like live there. I've done it before and that's dangerous because you don't want to walk around aimlessly. It's so valuable. Yeah. I know for people who may not know what we're talking about, may not experience it.
What the hell?
It's loud. We just got into our own little word right now.
For real. Oh, and one thing I want to say, like, I want to show you guys. Hold on. This, I know you said you had trouble like remembering your dreams, so I purchased this like maybe a year ago, and it's called a zebra marble. It's supposed to help you with your dream recall. So I always sleep with this like next to my nightstand, or I'll put it in my pillow, and it's been working for me, and it's huge. It helps me remember my dreams.
I'm gonna look that up. Thank you for saying that. I bought a dream catcher. I went to Bali last year and I bought like a big dream catcher and I have it above my bed. I was talking to a healer there and he was telling me like, you need to put something that's gonna help you gather your dreams. And so the dream catcher, what he said was right now you're gonna have to go through different stages because based on my purpose, I'm gonna need to be present. And sometimes I'm going to have to be detached. So he's like, you need to, right now, this is what you need. You need to be present. You need to focus on the here. And right now, we don't want to message you that way. And we're going to message you other ways. And I was like, okay. So yeah, I understand that's like just my ebb and flow, but I would love to like look at that and try it and put it in my pillow and see what happens.
Yeah, I always just put it in my pillow or keep it near, like, and it never disappears. Like I have some crystals, that'll disappear and do their own thing, and then they'll come back, and I was like, I don't worry, when they disappear, because I'm like, oh well, they'll show back up, and they do,
Everything. I have this ring. I should have brought it with me. So I have this ring that I've lost like 85 times. and it's like it looks like a happy face, but I think it's like I don't know what it's supposed to mean, but it has like my M in the middle of it, and I bought it in a random thrift shop. And when I tell you, Brittany, I lost this ring like 35 times, and every time I find it, like the last time I found it, I was packing up, moving from one apartment to another, and I found it like behind the couch. When they picked it up, I literally swept it, and I was like, oh my God, this ring again. And it
Yeah.
keeps coming back to me, and I'm like, I wonder what's the deal with this ring.
Yeah.
So
Like
it's
it'd be like, all right, the journey's not over, but we're just gonna take a little break. Stay tuned. We'll be back.
right. Or when they break out of nowhere and like shatter. I had one that I was giving to friends to use to like have discussions that we were having. So I would have them hold it while we were talking, and I guess the energy just took on, and literally it like fell out of their hands, and it like broke in like little milliliters, like literally shattered. And I was just like,
Yeah.
what the hell? And
But
so
they say like that doesn't mean anything bad. That
yeah, I
just
had to look
means
it
like
up.
it took on all the energy and their job is done.
I had to look it up because I was like so heartbroken. I was like, oh my God, and then I looked it up, and they're like, no, it's okay. It just took
Yeah.
the energy you needed, and now I needed to let go. And I'm like, oh gosh, that's beautiful. Like it just shows like everything is a ebb and flow, and not everything is supposed to live forever. So
Yeah, and you could take those little pieces and you can get like a locket and put them in there,
I
just to
tried, but
keep
it was
them with
like
you.
ash, girl. It was like ashes.
Right.
Like it was bad. It was like I couldn't. I was trying to sweep some of it up. I'm like, oh, let me. And I would grab like the little bigger pieces, and then I would try to like squeeze it, and it would just like disintegrate.
Oh yeah, that one was just like, okay, I'm done here.
I'm done.
My job is done.
You're
Yeah.
not doing anything. Exactly. Um, so just to switch gears a little bit, what are has your perspective of the world changed now that you've seen all this? Now you understand your dreams. Now you're grounded, and you understand things. Like, what is your now perspective and association to the world?
Um, my perspective of the world has always been a little different. Maybe because I feel so much, my perspective of the world was never the same as other people. Like I kind of felt like the world that we're living in is more so hell. And when I travel these different realms, like that's the life that I'm really supposed to be living.
Mhm.
So, like I said, like I feel like I agreed to come back here to maybe bring heaven on earth and raise a awareness as a light worker and, bring peace, love, and oneness and unity and nurturing and caring. Like I feel like that's a part of my purpose. Growing up, it was kind of hard for me because I felt like maybe everybody was supposed to feel the way that I was feeling, um, and be filled with so much love and passion, and it wasn't that way, and it's just like I feel like everybody was walking around with a blindfold, and maybe there was something wrong with me because everybody wasn't feeling the same way that I was feeling. But as I got older and I got more in my spiritual journey, I'm just like, no, it's not nothing wrong with me. It's something wrong with these people. A lot of people are raised off of survival and not love.
Mm.
And, I was kind of raised that way too, but the love was just within me. The emotion was just within me. And I'm just like, it's nothing wrong with me. It's just something wrong with, the other people. Not necessarily wrong. It's just like, I guess you can't give what you weren't given.
Mm. Amen. God, that's good. Oh, that's giving me tingles, girl.
Yeah, like if you weren't raised off of love, then you don't know how to give love and you don't know how to accept it. Like people don't know how to receive things that they weren't given before. So, they'll think that you're the enemy or you're out to get them when you're really just an authentic, genuine, loving, emotional type person.
Yeah. I would say I don't know if a lot of people are born with it already. I'm starting to question that because no one taught me love, like love. Not that no one's. I've been in traumatic experiences since I was 4 years old. So I've been
Mhm.
in trauma all my life. I've been in confusion all my life, and I just didn't understand why there was so much pain. Like because from within me, I felt like I just wanted to just be free, and I just didn't understand it. And I think my disassociation with the world and other people was just me feeling different. I'm just different, and I don't know why. And I
Right.
thought that the problem was me. And so
Me
I
too.
think that, yeah, like that's, you start to think like, well, if everybody else is like this and I'm the different one, then maybe they have it right and I have it wrong, right?
Hmm.
You start to question you. And so I don't know, I think my association with the world has always been different, yes. And I think now I just find the beauty in it. Like before it was just like dark because I just felt different and like confused. And now I'm like, no, actually this is a gift. I've been given
Right.
a gift, and it's a huge responsibility, right? Because just like you said, if you're responsible to bring love and light to darkness, like
Yes.
it's hard. It's hard. There's a lot of work to be done, a lot of cycles to be broken, and a lot of healing to do for yourself and for others.
Hmm.
But I think it's just beautiful. I find beauty in all the little things now, and I find the joy within myself, and I think that's like the biggest thing.
Yeah, me too. Like at first I was kind of like upset and would just question myself and the universe and just God and everything. Like I didn't sign up for this, like I don't want to do this. But as time went on, it's just like I agreed to this. Like I feel like I've lived many lives
Mm-hmm.
and I agreed to come back here. So right now it's just like I know for a fact that I'm walking in my purpose. I'm comfortable with it. I'm okay with being different, and I know that there's nothing wrong.
Yeah. But it's a lot for anybody that's out there that's like struggling with their self-identification and their purpose on this earth. Like, just know that there is a purpose for you, and you're here for something. And you finding you is connecting with your purpose, and know that there's nobody else on this earth like you. That's your
Hmm.
power. That's what makes you like not like nothing, and you should walk like that. You should walk with that type of like ego. Like let your
Hmm.
ego flourish in that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
And they should also know that, you're not alone. Like, even though it may feel lonely and stuff like that, like, it's other people out there that are just like you, and you're not alone. And eventually you will align with your soul tribe. Like, you just have to be authentic and just stand in your truth and, just go with the flow and just surrender to the flow. Like, don't try to fight it because it's not going to do anything but resurface anyway.
Yeah, it's not gonna go. It's definitely not gonna go away, no matter how much you
Definitely
want it
not.
to go away.
Like I said, I prayed it away and it still came back to sleep. It's like, okay, it's time.
For real. And for, I know as depression being such a big, heavy thing in our society, um, for anybody who feels suicidal or feel like they don't want to be here because this burden is so heavy. Like I too felt suicidal. I too wanted to pray it away. I too didn't want to be here for a very long time. Um, it's okay. It's okay to feel that way. It's okay. It's okay to go to the process. It's a process. It's a journey, and they, excuse me, there are things out here, there are tools out here, there are people out here that are just like you, and they're ready to walk into it. And right now I think it's perfect transition timing for you to be you.
Yeah. Especially with this quarantine and everything going on, it's just like, just really just tap in. Like, if you feel like you're different, like, just tap in with spirit and your ancestors and just everything. Like, everything will be revealed within solitude. Like, people around you, you don't need company or anything like that. Like, you always have your angels and your ancestors and everything around you, so you're never alone.
So tell me how your family and friends felt about your change. Did they notice it? What did they do? Because that's like another layer of this battle.
Oh gosh, like, let me tell you.
Tell me about that.
It was like they laughed at me. Like, I got laughed at a lot. I kind of felt like the movie Carrie, like, like they're all gonna laugh at you, like that type shit. But they laughed at me. Like, I have one cousin, you know, still to this day, she calls me "That's so Raven."
Because you have the visions.
Yeah, so she's like, okay, what are you talking? Like, she always listened to me, but you know, she calls me "That's so Raven," and my mom, you know, she listened. My whole family now, they're open to it, but I remember when I first started, and you know, I first started meditating and buying my crystals and everything. Like, I was just the outcast, and they kind of like made fun of me. And you know, when I got into my oracle readings and my tarot readings and things like that, like in my Sajin, people would say that I was doing witchcraft and everything. But I'm just like, okay, you know, whatever. Like, I really didn't care about what anybody had to say because, like I said, I was following my intuition and just doing what I felt was best for me to discover myself and connect more with my ancestors and spirits. So, you know, it's been a journey, and I didn't let what anybody say get to me. Like, it's still people are just like, oh well, you know, like she's weird and stuff like that. It's just like, what's normal?
Mm.
Like, and if there is a such thing as normal, why would I want to be that? So, you know, I dealt with the, you know, being judged and being laughed at and stuff. And I mean, I just don't give a fuck because why?
Because it
Why
don't,
would I?
right.
Right. It don't matter.
So I'm different from you because I kind of just disconnected. When I made the decision to completely commit to being with myself, I kind of kept it personal. And I just disassociated with myself. I literally moved across the country to be disconnected from friends, from family, from everything that I know so that I can be connected to me. And like you said, when you start to embark in this journey, you will find like-minded people. You will find your tribe. And I started
Hmm.
finding my own tribe. Some people that understood me, some people that didn't understand me but accepted me. And really, my mom was the only person that I used to communicate about these things with. And she would just tell me, like, you know, I don't understand, but I know that this is your journey, and I'm gonna be here to support you no matter what. Um, and ever since I started to just disconnect from people and doing what I did, people just started to fade away. And like, there's some people I open up with a little bit, and they'll like come to me on the sideline and talk to me about it, because I think most people are either intrigued or they feel it themselves. So I, in large groups of people, like my friends as groups, people don't talk about it, but on a sideline, I'll have people that will ask me questions, or like I'm the person that they come to ask about like these random questions and thoughts that they have, but they don't
Yeah.
really like put it out there, and we don't really talk about it, you know, like out loud. Which is fine, you know, like the spiritual journey is very personal, you know, it's a personal thing. So I don't expect, you know, people to like shout it out from the top of their lungs. Like, it's not about being accepted for anything. It's about just living your truth and feeling at peace. So, um,
Yeah. I felt like my spiritual journey, it was very private. And once it became like more popular and people started coming to me, I got a little overwhelmed because it was just like, okay, it's been so sacred and private to me. You know, I don't know how I open up about it or how I should help other people, or, you know, if I'm equipped to help other people, because I know how mine went, and it's just like everybody's is going to be so different.
mhm.
Um, you know, I have people ask me like, okay, well, what do you think is going to happen, you know, to the point where I felt like my brain was being picked, and then I'll just go back in this shell like, okay, you know, I don't want to talk about it no more, you know, because I feel like it's very personal to me, and I kind of don't want to dibble and dab in other people's spiritual journey.
Because that's a whole other.
Yeah,
So
it's a
let's go
whole.
back to the segue. What do you think about spirituality being this popular, trendy thing?
I feel like I'm glad that spirituality is being brought to the light, but I feel like there's so much work that goes into it, and there's so much, you know, that you have to pay attention to. And um I don't know, I kind of feel like it's a good thing, but then I kind of feel like people are on some monkey see monkey do as well. Lauren London mentioned Nipsey Sajan before they went out the house and everything, and all of a sudden everybody's just like, oh, well, let me get some sage and, you know, things like that. And it's just like, no, like sage is not the tool. Like it's a lot of work that goes into it, especially shadow work.
Mm-hmm.
And healing is more than sage and the crystals and the jewelry and things like that. Like that doesn't make you a spiritual being. Like we were just talking about, like it starts at a young age, when you're feeling things that you can't really describe. So it's already within you. Like you can't go buy some sage and some crystals and some jewelry and all of a sudden assume that you're this spiritual being.
I agree. That's a little annoying and a bit of insulting too. I think that I believe we're all spiritual beings, right? And so I feel like we're all supposed to be going through this journey, right?
Right.
In our own ways. But you're right, it's a very self thing. It has to be self-induced. I think that humans are just conditioned to emulate. We're taught to watch what to do, what to wear, what to think, how to live, and we just want to do that it's almost like impossible for some people to connect with themselves at this point.
Yeah.
And even in this solitude and all this, quarantine and all of that, like there's so many people still trying to be distracted from themselves and still being disconnected. And it's like, you guys are missing it. Like this journey is about you. And you're sitting here at home, driving yourself crazy, still trying to like uphold this idea of what you think you should be. Like, and you're not being.
Exactly.
In the midst of it all, you're not being. And I don't know, I'm just disappointed, and I think my empathy levels have now declined.
Yeah.
And I'm just no longer like, oh, this person is just the way that they are, or I feel bad for this person for what they're going. I'm just like, right now it's either now or never. Like,
right.
I don't got time for the shit. Like, don't come to me with your nonsense if you're not ready to face some real things. You're not dumb. Stop trying to act like you're dumb. You're not.
Yeah, because it's not going to go away.
Nah. It's really not. So I like that it's popular. I like that people want to be informed. I'm okay with that. But be informed. Like really try to be informed. Don't just try to like emulate something you don't understand. Or you don't even understand.
Yeah. I don't know. It's crazy to me because I'm like, when it started off with, me being laughed at and people not understanding, and now it's just all of a sudden like this huge thing. But I feel like they have the wrong idea about what it truly is and, what it truly takes.
Well, I knew that was going to get here. I don't know if you did, but there was a point in my teenager that I'm like, you know what? One day they'll get it. Like, I just knew that I knew that this time right now was going to come. I knew that there was going to be a time where spirituality was going to be the move, right? Like, I knew that the universe wasn't going to leave us with an option anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm accepting of the fact that we're here. It's just more of like, well, let's do it and let's do it right. Like, you can't have asked this. This is not a thing you have asked. Like, it's just not.
Yeah, I feel like, this is the time to bring peace, love, and healing on earth, and for everybody to come together. And if people don't see that and they don't understand that, it's just like, you're really rock, because right now this is the perfect time and this is what is happening for. And I feel like once this is over, like it's like the world and the universe and everything is just healing. Like you walk outside, like you're hearing the birds chirping. Like I hear birds chirping at like maybe 3 a.m, and they don't even usually chirp that early. That's how I know. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a great day. It's gonna be beautiful. Like the universe is just healing, like everything.
So I was just talking about that today. I'm like, they're chirping louder than ever, and at all times of the day and night, like. And I'm just, oh my God, that is so beautiful that they're so happy. They're so happy. I'm just so happy for them. I'm like, y'all go hang out there and out there while I'm in here.
Right, and I'm that person that walk outside and the sun is out, and I'm like, oh, hi. And the birds are out and they're chirping. I'm like, hey, like.
I'm like indoors, like, hey, y'all go ahead and do that thing out there. I'm an indoor cat, so I'm like,
right,
I want to be
right. Do y'all thing. I hear y'all. You know, I always make sure that I speak, and people probably be like, "Who is she talking to?" I'm like, I'm talking to the birds and nature and everything.
life, the living things around us. Hello.
Real.
I love that. So how are you healing your lineage and breaking cycles when it comes to spirituality?
And just, you know, always healing myself. I feel like it just starts with myself all the time. And, you know, nobody outside of me. Once you heal yourself and have a deeper understanding, then everything around you will start to align and transform.
For me, I would say just removing shame. I'm removing shame of myself, of what I do, of who I am, and I'm sharing all of my craziness on social media. I'm building my brand, and I'm just being the guinea pig that I believe that God put me on this earth to be, and hoping that people will see my spirit every day when they look at one of my videos or one of my posts. They see my spirit and they're inspired. They're inspired to heal. They're inspired to be better for themselves, for each other, for our world, because I think we need it. So
Yeah. That's a major thing. And, you know, I post a lot of things about spirituality and, you know, how I'm feeling. And I know other people get inspired. You know, I get DMs sometimes and, you know, messages. And that's how I know, like, other people are open and they want to start their journey as well, but a lot of people don't know where to start, and I can't really give them advice on where to start because, like I said, mine was kind of like a slap in the face, like, okay, we back, so you don't have no choice but to face it. But you know, I just think like that's a major thing,
yeah.
you know.
I would say my advice would be it starts with a decision that you make every day. Like it's a thing that you make every day. It's not like, oh, one day you wake up and you're a spiritual person, like, and or you're just aligned. Like it's a practice. It's something that you have to do and you have to commit to. And it has to start with every decision you make. So whoever is out there that's like feeling disconnected and feeling like they don't know where to start, just start with a decision a day.
Yeah. And I would say, like, just start, you know, meditating and heating nature and, you know, journaling and following your intuition. That's huge.
Facts. That's it. That's it. Well, thank you everyone for listening. Thank you, Brittany, for this amazing conversation. It was dope as usual. And you know what? Thanks everyone for supporting me. Stay tuned for the after credits. Remember, that's the best part. And see you guys next time. Later. Thank you so much for listening. Remember to subscribe and follow on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube at Relayshons Podcast via The Diary of MR. M as in Melissa, R as in Rosario. And now, the best part, here are the after credits, a message from my co-host.
Okay, so I just wanted to get on here and say that when you're transitioning to your spiritual journey, like it's going to be very lonely and you're going to feel like you're alone and no one understands you, and it's okay. Like most of the time, the spiritual journey reminds me of like the ocean and the waves, and you're just flowing, and you're going to crash and you're going to go through darkness and you're going to go through a lot of pain. But once you are over that phase, you'll realize why everything happened the way that it happened. And it's beautiful. Like everything happens so that it could build you up and transition you into this beautiful being that the universe needs.